wellness of the body and the spirit. I don't think we've been able to get to the body or spirit yet. We are still at our mental health. And today our discussion will be basically on childhood trauma and parenting. How does these traumas that we go through when we are children affect our mental wellness? How does it affect our parenting? And again now come to affect our how we operate in our mental health. Then today I'm having a guest. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much.
I'm having a guest who will be doing much of the communication here today. It will be more of a question-answer discussion where we'll be discussing basically trauma with Amy.
Yes.
So, welcome, Amy. Maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience and then we can continue.
Thank you so much, Madam K, for having me. My name is Amy Njambi. I am a counseling psychologist with Salem Consultants, and I am very, very happy to be here. And I'm looking forward to learning more about childhood trauma and how it can affect parenting and even affect the children in this day and age. So thank you for having me, Madam K.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Amy, for being with us today. I am normally used to be here alone, so it feels nice to just have someone we're having a discussion with. And I believe today we are going to have an impactful session, of course, even with the audience. So maybe just to be able to begin, allow me maybe to just introduce trauma, what trauma is.
Yes.
It is basically things that we go through in our lives. It can be an accident, it can be loss of a loved one, it can be either a disaster, like we were just having the issue of floods the other day and people lost their homes, and of course it leaves a memory in the mind or the heart of a child or even an adult. So trauma affects all people, but today we'll be basically maybe concentrating on the children, because children being that they are developing, their mind is developing. So when they go through now those traumatic experiences, it's like they grow with the trauma, and the trauma must becomes part of them. Yeah. So that's why the childhood trauma has a different impact from that one of an adult. So that is where the challenge comes in. So a child to just be able to grow out of that traumatic, or the others we may be talking of post-traumatic disorders, but now this one, we basically now it is the impact it leaves in the child after, because now the child was growing when all these things are happening. So there is the issue of abandonment, there is abuse sometimes that happens in the family, there is rape, things like when maybe the parent is not present, most of the times the child is left alone or with strangers. So all those ones have an impact in the brain of the child. So basically our discussion will be on that. Yeah.
So basically you're saying trauma can look like a scar that is left behind from a painful experience that a child goes through that can even resonate as an adult.
Yes. Now maybe let me explain it with a wound after an accident.
Yes.
So when like maybe I had an accident when maybe I was 10. Somewhere on my leg I have a scar of a wound. I think the earliest I can remember I must have been 8 or 9 when I got that wound. But the scar is very visible on my leg as an adult.
Okay.
So that is exactly what's trauma memory, or it's not really memory. There are things I do because of the scar that is there.
Yes.
Maybe let me give an example, maybe before we get into this. So if like a child was abandoned when they were young, especially in their early years between 2 and around 5 years, they develop mistrust very high level mistrust.
Yes.
So even when they grow older, they are not able to trust people. They are not able to be to trust that somebody can take care of them, because when they came in the world,
yes,
they did not get the support they expected from the caregivers.
Okay.
So such,
yes,
or maybe somebody went through sexual abuse when they were younger. Some may translate to things like being over-sexualized. There are so many people who are in prostitution,
yes,
not because they wanted to be, but because they are responding to sexual abuse that happened to them when they were young.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So there is a lot that plays around childhood trauma that has a great impact in the life of an adult. Yes.
Okay. So just to ask on that, or to build on that, how do you know as a human being or as an adult that you still are suffering from childhood trauma, and that it is not just your personality that is coming out?
Unfortunately, Amy, and you will agree with me on this,
yes,
many people are not able to know that I behave the way I do because of trauma that I faced.
Yes.
Because I said, once these things happen to us when we are younger, we grow up and they almost become a part of us.
yes,
As our brain is maturing, we almost mature with that understanding. This is who I am. Maybe it is trauma of like being put down and being looked down upon, or just being left out every other time.
Yes.
So you grow up believing that you are rejected. Now, unfortunately, when we get to the religious aspect, we will hear things like having the spirit of rejection. I've always said on this show that yes, I know we want to really label things and call them all these spirits.
yes,
And of course, yes, we will say it is spirit of rejection. But the truth is that the information that child captured when they were growing up, this is what they are relating to. So every time they relate with people, they relate with that. There's the message behind in the subconscious that tells them you are not good enough. People will always leave you. That is the information the child is relating with. Now, you are asking if I am aware. Many people are not. It's only until maybe somebody has done a little bit of self-awareness, and a little bit maybe of counseling, or just had what we are discussing, then now somebody is able to really know, oh, then this is why I behave the way I do. And remember, we are talking about childhood trauma and parenting. Remember, these are things, again, sometimes that are passed on from one generation to another.
Yes.
A generation of parents, a generation of grandparents treat children in a certain way.
yes,
Those children bring up children and treat them in the same way. I almost feel like, especially the African mother,
yes,
because of the level of trauma that we were raised with, there's a lot of passing on that to our children. There is all these speaking very harsh words and sometimes never even appreciating anything and all that,
yes,
which plays a lot in the life of a child, which again now will play out in the life of an adult.
Wow.
Again, when we come spiritual, we will call it generational curses.
Wow. Wow. So there is a direct correlation between mental health and spirituality.
Yes, and that's why we are doing holistic wellness.
Wow. This is information we need to have as early as possible, so that we can just know how to deal with these things at the earliest stage possible. Now, just like you've mentioned now, generational curses or passing down traits or characters to your children. Somebody asked, how do you avoid passing on childhood trauma or heal it as an adult or a parent? How do you begin this walk? How do you begin this journey?
the beginning of every kind of healing, just like any other disease.
Yes.
The starting point is awareness.
Awareness.
And acknowledging that I have a problem. So until I know I have a problem, I can't heal.
Yes.
I don't know whether Amy, you have interacted with people and you're trying to give them information and they're like, no, not me. You know me, I'm not like that. So until we come to that point of acknowledging that I have a problem, this is my problem. Now, the next stage is, first of all, identifying what the problem is. Somebody will talk about trauma, and there is a lot of that discussion in our time.
Yes.
There is a little bit of awareness of childhood trauma in our conversations. But being able to identify and say, these are my trauma responses, this is the problem, this is the cause of my trauma, this is how trauma makes me behave. Many of us have not been able to reach there. And until you've been able to get to that point, it becomes very hard to start healing. So to be able to get to heal is be able to reach to that place, identify. I told you about my wound. I cannot go to the doctor and tell the doctor I have a wound. I am having a wound on my body. And I'm expecting the doctor to treat that wound. Which wound will the doctor be treating?
They have to find it. They have to identify the wound.
It is not the doctor to identify.
You have.
I am the one to identify. This is where the wound is. And this is how I am feeling.
Oh, this is where it hurts. Okay.
So mostly matters of mental health. There is a lot of ambiguity in it. We even when you hear people talk of I'm depressed or like I am stressed. It is so ambiguous. You cannot really be able to point out and say this is what is causing the pain. So to heal, that part of being able to be specific has to be there. Why do people avoid the specific? It is because it hurts.
Okay.
I'll go back again to my wound. I remember every time I would go to the doctor, the memories are very fresh because it was a terrible wound. So I would go on every visit. I think I used to do weekly visit. So the first thing they do is they clean. I can see the look. They clean that wood, and of course, when the wood is being cleaned, it is not painful. It is not a pleasant experience. So many reasons why people don't want to heal from childhood trauma. It is that cleaning. The cleaning process. Because you have to be clean. Take out the dirt and all the germs and all the pus, so that now you can start putting medication.
Wow. So what we try to do is we just want to put medication in.
On top of germs and dirt and everything. Now the truth is I'll just feel good that I was treated, but the truth is I was not.
You are not treated. Wow, it's busy festering.
And what would happen now to that wood? I'll still use my wood. What will happen to the wood is that it starts
it's festering germs.
It starts getting more germs, and with the time I'll start oozing. Now that the oozing in matters emotions, that you don't ooze on yourself.
You ooze on others.
On other people.
Wow. Wow.
So as long as I have refused to heal from that trauma and pain, it has an impact. It will affect me, I am feeling pain. But because now it is to a level that is so damaged, I'll start pouring it out on other people. So that is the damage trauma does. So the closest who are affected are children.
Oh my.
It's the husband.
The wife, yes.
It is the wife. It is the person who is closest to you that will be hurt the most. Because even now, Amy, if my wood was smelling, who will be the first one to feel the smell? You are the one.
Closest to you, yes.
Yes, you are the closest to me.
Yes.
So you are the one to feel the smell even before we start passing it now to other people.
Wow. Wow. You see, guys, this is the reason you need to heal your wounds, because the people closest to you are the ones to actually experience what you are experiencing first. Wow. Thank you for that description, especially the cleaning and everything. Now, Madam K, maybe you can tell us, is there a difference between instilling discipline, punishment, and trauma? Because now you'll hear even the government has taken away corporal punishment, right? And you'll hear some people or children saying, I'm traumatized, I don't like, my mom doesn't love me anymore. Is there a difference between instilling discipline, punishment, and also basically giving trauma to your children?
First, we need to define discipline. Discipline is not beating.
Okay.
Discipline is not speaking harsh words.
Okay.
Discipline is not being rude.
Okay.
Now, discipline is training.
Training.
Discipline is taking out foolishness out of a child. That the Bible says that the Lord takes out foolishness out of a child. Now, every child is born with some mischievous habits.
Yes.
Now, the responsibility of the parent is to make sure that, because you know better than the child, you make sure you align the child to the right way and to doing things right. So what happens is, and I think this is where we mess in the area of parenting, we miss out on the right time for discipline.
Okay.
Training has timings.
Okay.
Training has timings.
Yes.
If I need to train a child to do, the very first training we need to do to a child is see you as an authority.
Okay.
Yes. So it is the responsibility of the parent, the moment a child has been born, we are talking about before 2 years.
Before 2 years.
So it is the responsibility of the parent to be able to teach this child that I am an authority to you. To do that, you don't really need to put a face. You don't need to take a cane. It is just instruct. It is very easy to instruct a child who is 2 years.
Yes.
Now, the moment the child has been able to see the parent as an authority,
yes,
it becomes very easy to discipline. Because now they are receiving training
yes,
from an expert.
Now, Madam K, if you
no, allow me to finish this.
Yes.
But what do we do?
Yes.
When a child gets to around 3 years, that is when they are joining school. We tell them that we will report them to the teacher. What have we told the child?
That the teacher is the authority.
So I am not.
Yes. Wow.
So I will have to shout, scream, use all manner of punishment to be heard. Whereas that teacher who I told the child is the authority may not require to do anything. They just come to class, enter, and the child, because they know their authority, they align. Now that authority aspect is only taught to a child up to the age of 5.
Really?
Yes, if we miss out at that point, we will do a lot of what you're saying. Beating, punishment and all. And of course, yes, sometimes we may be we may be against the government in like punishment and everything, but if you look at a person who has trauma, the trauma we were talking about, whose woods are oozing, this is the person who is supposed to now be disciplining a child who they did not discipline at the age of 5, because we said discipline is training. So if now this person comes to discipline, will they not even kill the child?
They could. Wow.
So it is because of that mix-up of how we train and when we train and whether we have healed. So it's a complex matter there, and because we are not dealing with parenting today, maybe that is just a snippet of what it is.
Wow. Wow. Now, but I still think I have a question on that. If we are not beating, especially we hear a lot about terrible two. This is where the child is just getting a mind of their own. They are discovering things. They are all over the place, literally. And then you are making yourself an authority or an authority figure in the child's life. If you're not beating them, if you're not, how do you just instruct a child who can barely speak?
What is a rod?
Kiboko.
So I said the rod takes out foolishness. So a rod is involved. And if a rod is involved in a 2-year-old, will you be beating to murder? No. Okay. It is just like spanking a little. But because they have already seen you as an authority, it will be very easy to hear. You may not require to repeat so many times.
Yes.
But the biggest miss out is that part of the child looking at you as an authority. What we do when babies are younger, what do we call them, Amy?
When baby toddlers.
When they are younger, those
two names.
What
Kamam, Kababa, baby, Madam K, you know I don't have children yet.
Now look at those names.
Yes.
When I have called somebody a mother, who is a mother?
The one who gave birth to the child?
No. I have called my baby mom. Who is a mother?
The one who gave birth to me.
Now who has authority over the other?
The baby. I have transferred my authority to the...
At around teenage. And that is when we want the child to
now start
toe the line.
It won't work.
I don't know you.
Wow.
I don't know you.
Sasa, now Madam K, we shouldn't call our children those pet names in terms of endearment.
There is the calling. Remember, my point is authority.
Yes.
Call them all the names.
Okay.
But make sure that you don't transfer the authority in the name.
Understood. Understood. Say less. Wow. Hey, that one. That one, I think you have also taken a rod and also removed some foolishness from some people around. Now, Madam K, speaking still on the issue of discipline.
Yes.
Is there a difference between being an authoritative parent and also being an authoritarian?
Of course, authoritative is when you explain the why of everything. An authoritarian, it is your word goes.
Mimi ni mama yako.
Yes.
Because I said so.
Yes. So the authoritative explains the why to everything.
Okay.
The authoritarian, I am the word. You should not ask anything.
The word.
And unfortunately, it is also an easy way. Remember, I said we are transferring parenting habits from where we are coming from. The parents who brought us up were not answering the why. They were not explaining anything.
Yeah.
It is do it because I said it. So we are trying to do the same. And explaining the why might also be telling me to touch on areas. You know those woods? I may be touching woods I don't want to touch. A simple question like if a mother is single and the child is asking, okay, the mother says, the child comes and they're asking a simple question, who is my father? You know, it's simple. It's a simple question. Every child has a father.
True.
So the child asks, who is my father? Don't you ever ask that question. This is an authoritarian. Don't you ever ask this question again because mom said. What are we doing? We are covering this wood that we don't want it touched. So what have we transferred to the child? Identity issues. We have transferred to the child. Already now the child feels, but why would mom never even want me to discuss further? Who is this man?
What is this? Yeah.
Who is this man that even mom does not want at all anything talked about? They now start hating themselves.
Oh,
Trauma has been passed directly.
Wow.
But an authoritative mother will the child will come and will tell them, this is what happened between you and your father.
Yes.
Your father lives in a certain place and this. When you are old enough, when time comes, we can discuss whether you will get to meet him or not. Or this is who your father is. Look at his photos. This is how he looks. That child is left with a little bit of identity. They know the father exists somewhere.
Yeah.
So their identity is not messed up.
And it's an open discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is something they can always come and ask. Who are my grandparents? Where do they live? This is a conversation we can have. So the child does not grow with fear and intimidation. Wow. And of course, even when other children are asking, who are you? They will not have a challenge with that. But of course, because it is very easy to say, I am the one who said, remember it's trauma, I'm hiding the wood.
Wow. A painful experience.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, Madam K. Now, is it possible to have or balance a friendship while still maintaining your authority as a parent?
My policy to parenting is please remain a parent.
Okay.
The child does not need a friend in a parent. They need a parent. A child can make friends out there, but they cannot make parents out there.
Wow. So remain a parent.
As much as you can.
As much as you can.
And if you remain a parent, your position as a parent will be okay. There's a lot that can come out of that. You can talk at a level of understanding each other. When everybody is keeping their boundary. The child is keeping the boundary as a child, and the parent is keeping the boundary as the parent. Now, what happens when we translate it into a relationship, a friendship, Amy? It's unfortunate. Amy, I am the mother here, and you are the daughter.
Yes.
Every single problem I go through,
yes, you are talking to me about.
I'll come and tell you as so you're my friend. Can you imagine the burden you're placing on a 15-year-old, 13-year-old? Do they even know how to maneuver these things? Do they understand even the dynamics of it? No. So by the time the child is growing a little bit older, they are carrying such a baggage. And remember, they are carrying a baggage of a parent.
Not their own.
So the the child views you as the parent.
Yes.
So the weight of the emotional baggage is higher.
Wow.
Because to them, they see you as a mother.
Yes. Wow.
Not as a friend.
Wow.
Stories of a friend you can carry and like,
let's go.
It's not a big deal. they will organize their own life.
Yes.
But this is my mother.
Yes.
This is my mother telling me how my father cheated on her, how they lost money, how... And the child is 12. What are you doing to the child?
You're passing on trauma.
So if you can be able to maintain the boundaries of parenting, then relationship will be built and it will be okay. Later on in life,
yes,
above 30, the relationship can go to friends.
To friendship, because now the
both of you are mature.
And there's values that have been instilled.
Yes, but both of you in the brain, you are mature. When the child is younger, you're not. The child is not mature, but you're trying to put things in the life of this child that the mind, the brain cannot manage, cannot handle.
Okay. Literally putting a heavier load on
yes.
them than they can lift. Wow.
Maybe let me put this. How is a child supposed to digest me telling them, a 12-year-old, I have a 12-year-old boy. How is he supposed to manage information, me telling him that the father is cheating on me? How is that child supposed to manage that information?
He'll actually be confused and he'll have to pick a side.
Pick a side? You might not.
He can't.
He might not.
Yeah.
But what have you put in that child?
True. A mistrust. A burden.
It is mistrust,
yes.
it is burden, it is trauma, it is
pain.
It is too confusion. And those are things our children are going through today.
Wow. No wonder they cannot form healthy relationships.
Now, those are some of the things that are exposing our children a lot to even abusing drugs.
Wow.
Others are getting to the extent of suicide.
Oh my.
Because you're putting burdens on them that at their age they cannot be able to really put meaning to the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, friendship, we have said look for your own friends, make your friends, but maybe later in life you can pursue that line. Wow, thank you for explaining it that way. I think most people needed to just get that light on that particular area. Now, Madam K, maybe we can shift gears a bit, and someone would ask, how do I, or how does a parent balance between giving their child everything they can possibly give to them while still instilling some level of integrity and not, spoiling the child?
The way you are just explaining the question is a trauma response.
Okay.
Giving my child everything. Many of us parents don't really give our children what they need. We give them what we lacked. So a child needs training, a child needs care, a child needs presence, a child needs emotional support. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that children of people who are on the streets,
yes,
and we interact with them a lot, why do they look happy? Very happy as long as the mother is there. Because that's all the child needs.
Wow.
Not the posh life, not the big school, not the... Many of us have given children what we lacked, and we have denied them what they need the most.
Which is our presence. Wow. When
our parents were raising us,
yes,
they did not have, maybe let me use my scenario, because Amy, I'm sure you don't have this one. we were present, how we saw our parents present, it is because we went to the farm together. We went looking for firewood together. We fetched water with them. When they were going to look for napier grass for the cow, we were together. When we are making githeri food with firewood, we are seated in the kitchen, all of us, at the fireplace, making food. I mean, are you getting that scenario? There is a lot of learning that was happening that time as I was observing. Much of parenting is observed. Sorry, the English is not coming.
I understand, Madam K.
It is what I see as opposed to what I hear. So the child learns they learn by what they see. They capture it as we continue.
Okay.
But look at this parent who is not present. What are the children observing?
Wow, things maybe on TV.
TV, the house help,
the
neighbors, a lot of social media, their friends who are younger. And this is what we have given, and we have given now those other things so much attention, but we have lost the most important. And I am not saying that we don't take children to those expensive schools. No. I also did not say that we don't give them those gifts and all, but create time. Parenting is not babysitting, Amy. So we are not talking of sit down and sit with the children, because you can also be babysitting and not present.
Wow, really?
Yes, you can be seated the whole day in the house with your child, but you are not present. You are not connecting with their emotions. You are not connecting with what is happening in their life. You've not even had an opportunity of asking, how are you? But you are there.
Okay.
Yes, at home.
Okay.
So sometimes I look at how we were parented and why we look a little bit structured. And I'm able to tell it is because of the work that was done by our parents that we thought did not have enough. Because they gave us what we needed.
Yeah. And you
not what
were able to see.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know whether I've answered your question, but the way you had framed it,
yes,
it is a trauma response.
Yes.
Yes.
You had already seen.
It is things as we were growing up we felt deprived of. That is what we are giving.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
So basically, the child doesn't need much. They need your presence. They need, obviously the basic needs, but your presence is...
They first need a healed parent.
A healed parent.
They need a whole parent who is not carrying baggages. Because as long as you're carrying baggages, the child will be the first one to suffer.
Yes.
Even when they're in the womb.
In the womb?
Yes.
Please explain.
Children respond to emotional state of the mother in the womb.
Wow.
Yes.
It's the connection starts from there.
So by the time the child is coming, they just feel, there is something that is just not right.
So if the mother is going through a painful experience or something that is causing her any kind of trauma, the child is able to feel it from when they're in the womb.
Yes.
Interesting.
And that's why the emotional wellness of the parent, of the mother at the point of pregnancy is key.
Wow.
To the wellness of the child.
Wow. So it's not just about giving the child food and water.
If it was about food and water, even an adult, then food and water would have been enough.
Enough. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I'm telling you today, we are learning a lot. Wow. That is very, very interesting. I don't think we think about it from that sense or from that particular point in time.
Maybe can I take it a little bit back?
Yes.
Some of what most of the times takes people through post-traumatic, postpartum depression is the state of the mind at the point you are having the pregnancy.
Oh.
Yes. So if you're in an environment, of course, where you're stressed up by work or by situation or a child has just been born very close to the other, and there's all these responsibilities feeling heavy in your mind, you are predisposed to postpartum depression.
Wow.
Now, who is affected the most?
The child.
The baby who has come.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because now that presence will...
Because the attachment, the connection they're supposed to get in that first year and those first months, they will not get it.
Yes. Is it possible for this postpartum depression to even run longer, maybe than the formative months of this child?
Okay, normally they range it between 2 to 3 weeks. Someone should have healed over the same.
Yes.
But if it goes now beyond the 3 weeks, it's supposed to be treated immediately.
Okay.
Of which even the 2 weeks is requires treatment, just to suppress those emotional imbalances, and of course the hormonal imbalance that also causes the imbalance in the brain.
Mind, yes.
So yes, some goals and some, when not treated, becomes unmanageable. Really? And of course, in our setup, where we layman, we call it madness.
Wow.
Yes, it can get to that level. So, of course, maybe this mother who was in a very relationship that had turmoils and challenges, and maybe also had come from a family that had pain. Can you imagine the mix of all that? And now a baby has come, maybe you don't have money, you struggled to even be able to give birth to that child, and all that mixed together with the problems of pregnancy, the mind goes off.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has such a big effect. But you see, sometimes also the way we look at motherhood and how we look at parenting is sometimes very casual. Because it almost happens automatically. Reach a certain age, get a boyfriend, get a baby. I mean, it looks so automatic. But then again, it deprives the child of maximizing their potential and who they are. Because the environment that person has grown in has so many challenges around it. I sometimes, every time I think about Africa, I feel like this is our greatest problem.
Where the children are getting born and raised.
How we give birth. Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes not planned.
Yes.
There's so casualty, a lot of casualty in the area of parenting, a lot of casualty in the issue of sexual relationships. We don't mind where we get babies. We don't mind who we get babies with. I mean, there's a lot of casualty to life in Africa.
Yes.
Allow me to just use Africa, that's where I am. Yeah, so I feel like the problems we suffer today, most of them are there. And of course, because we can easily blame the West, so we say the West. And we say colonization. It's easy to blame somebody. So we pass the blame. Yeah.
Wow.
But the truth is, there is a lot that needs to happen. We just go back and just look into ourselves. And the first one is just heal from trauma. Because we'll pass that trauma to several generations after us.
My goodness. Speaking of that.
And it is not generational curse.
It is refusing accountability.
Yes.
Well, Hey, you have told us you have to just wake up. Wake up and take up your mantle, my friends. Okay, now someone here sent in a question and they said, I am seeing predominant traits of someone in my family or of my, someone who came before me, like alcoholism, like, some behaviors that I'm recognizing in somebody else, some patterns that are now forming. What do I do? And how can I, bring them or realign this particular behavior?
Anything, and this is why holistic wellness wants to always connect body, spirit, and mind.
Yes.
In your question, if you to connect body, we are talking about genetics.
Yes.
So there are traits. Remember, what runs in my body, or what the blood that runs in my body is the blood of my grandmother.
Yes.
Which is the blood of my great grandmother, grandfather, who for sure I don't know. So because I am a product of some generation that is behind me.
Yes.
So there are genetic traits, including how I look, including how I talk, including how I behave, including the kind of diseases that I'm predisposed to. So all these are things that will show up. Now, that is science. Those are facts. Okay, now if I know that in my lineage,
yes,
there is alcoholism.
Yes.
Not alcoholism really, but I am predisposed to addiction if I expose myself to alcoholism. Because there is a certain gene that predisposes our family to becoming alcoholics, which exposes our family to addiction. When I realize that, I am simply supposed to take care of myself and make sure I will never taste alcohol.
Wow.
So when people are enjoying the wine and saying wine has no problem,
yes,
I am like, no, I know myself very well. I know my component. It is just the same thing that there are diseases that affect us as blacks. There are diseases that affect people because they are white. It is simple. So if I understand that, then I guard myself.
Yeah.
Of course, spirituality might come and tell you that we can break the curse and we can cut the curse. Yes, you can. But there are some genetics that may not change. They are there. So I cannot drink alcohol and now I'm expecting to cut the curse. And I'm the one who has predisposed myself. And I already knew I am a carrier of the same.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, when we talk holistic, we want to understand the spiritual angle, understand both the mind, the physical, and also understand the mental.
Yes.
So if I also know that there's all those traits, even traits of anger. I come from a community that is supposed
angry.
Supposedly. Yes.
Yes.
To me, I call it a stereotype. Because I have seen angry people and they don't come from my community.
That's true.
So it is just a stereotype that we know. If that is where I come from, I need to go and ask myself, because anger has nothing to do with the genes. No, it is a mental issue. It is something to do with how we manage our mind and our emotions. So if I realize I am becoming over angry, there is something I've hidden in my subconscious mind that is causing me to behave the way I do.
Wow.
So I already need to go work on what I am hiding, and my anger issues are sorted.
Could it also be as a result of doing what you have seen before? Or is it
not the same hidden in the subconscious? Yes. So because it is cumulatively refusing to deal with issues that is easily passed on. You remember that one of do it because I said so? So I also grow up and I'm telling my children, do it because I said so.
Yeah.
So this we have covered it from this generation, we cover it in the next, and we don't mind. And we even talk about it, how my grandmother killed who, and now somebody is killing somebody in the same family.
Wow.
Go sit down, sort out the emotional issues.
Wow. Wow, because you said if a wound is not healed, it will ooze.
Yes.
And when it oozes, it will pass down to the person who is closest to you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's all coming together now, full circle. Thank you for that particular explanation. Now, someone also asked quite a sensitive question, and they said, how do I assist my child who has been assaulted sexually or physically? Was it my fault that I did not see the signs sooner?
Abuse. How do we handle sexual abuse? In our setup, African setup, we cover.
We cover. Back to the wound.
We cover. And mostly because sexual abuse does not happen with strangers. It's on very rare occasion that it will happen with a stranger.
Wow.
It happens with family members. So because we want to maintain, in quote, the family relationship, we cover. We cover the wood in the guise of maintaining that family relationship or neighborhood. But we cover it at the expense of this child whose future has been messed up completely.
Wow.
How should I help? Please seek professional help.
Okay.
You can't help.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
The parent is not in a position to help that child. The parent is equally hurting.
Yes.
The parent is also having trauma. That trauma is the same amount of trauma the child is having. Is the same the parent is having. So they both need professional help.
Wow.
Failure to seek the professional help. Remember, they're washing the wood. The woozy.
Yes.
And the challenge with abuse is that it exposes a child to multiple sexual abuses in the future.
Please explain to us.
In their seeking to heal or to revenge from the abuser, because that is what comes. The first thing you want to do is you want to revenge.
Yes.
Or you want to show the person you did not.
Your power.
Yes, you want to get your power back. So sometimes that power can come in the form of multiple partners.
Wow.
You're trying to say, yes, I can still have this, and even have it more often with whoever I want. I don't have to be forced. That is how many people are predisposed to multiple sexual partners. The next one is revenge. So you're literally having sexual relationships with many people, and to you you're revenging to that one.
Wow.
And these things are not intentional. I mean, they are not conscious. You're not doing them consciously. They are just coming. So I can see our time is quite spent.
Yes.
I'm thinking we put a pause on this, and we just hold to that question, and then we'll be able to pick it up next time.
Yes.
But basically, maybe before, so that we can conclude the topic on childhood for today, childhood trauma and parenting. We've said awareness, identify exactly where it hurts,
yes,
seek help, get treatment, because if we don't get treatment, we'll pass it on to the next generation.
wow,
And the problem is we don't have control,
yes,
over how it passes, because it will go. But we have control over how we react. They say that we have no control over what happens to us, but we have control over how we react or respond to what happens to us in this life. And of course, life has its own traumas. The traumas are many. Sometimes, and most of the times, you are not responsible. But we will get traumatic experiences.
yes,
So how we react to them then is what matters.
wow,
I wish we can react in a healthy manner. Then we'll have a better society. So this was Holistic Wellness Show. Thank you, Emmy, for being with us today.
yes.
I am looking forward to having you once again. Thank you so much. This is God of Wonder TV, Holistic Wellness.